Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make this Tiffany box cake with a bow and pearls. So as always guys, if you need any tools or supplies, if you check out the links below and use those to shop, it really helps me out a lot. So, okay, I started with a square cake, of course. Now, I rolled out my blue fondant. It's the Tiffany cake blue that is, not quite eggshell, like robin's egg, not quite sky, not quite teal, a little bit of all the above. Mixed it up into my fondant and laid it over my cake. And I rolled it out and I left it kind of thick because I am honestly not very good at sharp edges. So I tend to leave a little bit of cushion so I can do a little sculpting with it. Now, as you see, when you're trying to cover a square cake, I found it easiest to start with the corners. You shape the corner and then on each end, and then flatten the center, fold it outwards and kind of press down and flatten it that way. I had to cut off my extra right away because I have it on my turntable and it was really heavy. So that's kind of what I found to work the best. It leaves it so that you don't have that extra bulge on the corners that I have had to, cut off with scissors before. It kind of fits to the cake a little bit nicer. And you probably have noticed too, my top edge of the cake is cracking where the fondant has pulled because I rolled it out so thick that it's pretty darn heavy and it separated a little bit. Now, normally this would be a problem, but since I'm going to cover it with, the lid to the box, I'm not going to worry about it very much. And also my bottom edges aren't exactly the cleanest either, but that's not such a worry for me either because that is also going to be hidden. And I always tell people, if you make a mistake on your cake, cover it with a decoration. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you the art of covering with a decoration here today on Caketastic Cakes. So anyway, all right, I got that covered. I got it trimmed off. I'm using my fondant paddles to try to smooth it out and, kind of mushing up, trying to pinch between my hand and the paddle to make a bit of more of a sharp edge. And that's why I had said I left it rolled a little thicker, so I have a little more to mold and sculpt. And really, by the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's not too shabby. Of course, you're not going to cut yourself on it or anything, but the corners aren't too bad. Now I'm going to roll out some fondant for the lid. So I measured it out, and I gave it an extra inch on either end. So, what size cake was this? I want to say it was a 9-inch square pan I used. So I'm making it, I think 11 inches or 10 inches. I don't know. So if I'm doing 10 inches, it must have been an 8-inch pan. So there you go. Math. All right. So I rolled it out and I cut my one line. I had my little markers on it for measuring. I'm using my stirring sticks that I use to roll my fondant and gum paste as my guide. So I make nice straight cuts. And my indicator markers are pretty much out the window at this point because I rolled my fondant in a weird shape. Regardless, I ended up with a square. Ba-bam, there it is. Now I'm going to very carefully pick it up on my big old rolling pin there and lay it over the top so hopefully an inch overhangs all the sides. And you want to pick it up very carefully because normally when you pick it up on the rolling pin, it kind of stretches in the one direction. So you don't want to stretch it too much. Now I am using my paddles again, using my fingers on the corners to kind of pinch it and make it fit. Smooth it out, rub it down, la la la, there you go. Let's just keep working those paddles, guys and girls, just keep working those paddles. Once you get your corners nice and sharp and your edges, nice and flat and as much again of an angle as you can, you're going to start to see that the corners hang down lower than the rest of it. The corners of the lid. I guess, again, math, they stick out further and they end up, when you bend them down, they just droop down a little lower. So I'm lining my knife blade up with the majority of it and then cutting straight. So I'm going very carefully. So I only cut the corner. Here you can see it. Yeah, you can see how I kind of line up the blade with the rest of the line of the box lid and just go straight into the corner and trim away anything that sticks down too low. So you see? Just pinch it off again, smooth it off. There you go. I'm using that to just kind of make it more even on the sides as well because it got a little wonky there, here and there, as it is wont to do. Okay, Now I'm going to show you how to put the ribbon on the cake. I rolled it out. It's just plain old white, no tricks or funny colors here. I have a nice thick strip, roll it across the cake like so. Cut off the excess on either side, and you're already well begun, right? Now I'm using another piece, laying it across the top, and the cake that this person wanted, they wanted the bow kind of off center to the side more into a corner. So that's why it's not centered here, it's just off to the side more. You know, stick your bow wherever you want, unless you're being paid to put it elsewhere. Then do as you're being paid to do. Take another piece, put it across the other way so it crisscrosses, and it just looks so lovely. I'm using my paddles to flatten it up, and yeah, there you go. Now I'm going to show you how I made the pearls. I have this mold, oh geez, where'd I get it? Walmart, I think, or something like that. And I roll the gum paste into it, and then I use my knife blade on the side, as you saw, to cut either way from the center toward each end. And then, you know, I use my fingers to push in any little scragglies that stick out, pull it out, ba-bam, there you go. Now I made a whole bunch of these. I figured you didn't need to see me do it over and over again. But I made a whole bunch, and I have them laying all over the cake. And remember I said my edges weren't the prettiest in the world? Well, here I am. I'm hiding them, right? Cover them with a decoration. There you go. Now, if this person didn't want pearls, I would have had to pay much more attention, been more careful, or just get more creative with the ribbons, I guess. Now I'm going to show you how I made the bow. I cut two very messy pieces out of white that I had rolled out. They're pretty much the same size. And I'm going to trim off the one end, kind of like an angle, kind of at an angle, but not quite, you know, pointy in the center, just a little off the edge on either side. Flip the pieces in half so that you can do the other end, and it'll match up pretty well. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it could be if you take the time to. Now I'm using a piece of paper towel to fold over the piece in the center so it'll hold its shape, because this is gum paste, so when it dries it'll hold its shape. I'm kind of pinching up the center to make that crease, that bubble that comes up, you know, the line that comes up there. And then on either side, on the end of the ribbon, I was pushing in with my fingers. You see, kind of like, just to accent it, that little bubble and wrinkle. And I don't know, you know, the bows always look so pretty when they have those little wrinkles and divots in them. And some of my bows come out looking like crumpled up tissues, and others come out kind of pretty, like this one I was happy with. These are going to be the two pieces of ribbon coming out the bottom, so I just cut two strips. Wrinkle it up when you put it on the paper towel to dry. You see I cut the little triangle out of each end to make the, you know, quintessential little end of the ribbon look. This is going to be the name tag. This piece, you know, add it if you want, don't if you don't. This was specifically requested when I got the cake order, that they wanted a tag with a to and from type of thing on it. So I'm just showing you how I made it. Just, yeah, made a tag. Put a little hole in it with my cutter. And I'll just let that dry nice and flat so I can write on it later. Now when my pieces, my two sides are hard enough, the next day, I took a oval and just mushed it around it, and there you go. That's it. Nice and easy, right? And now it's been in the day, so they're hard enough that I can put them on the cake. And as you see, my beads are also gum paste, so they're also hard. I just had to break some off. If it happens, it happens. It's not a big deal. You know, it's certainly workaroundable, because that's a word now. All right, so place your bow on there. Put a little soft gum paste underneath to attach it, because I'm feeling like water just wouldn't have been enough. I ended up molding a new piece of beading in order to fill in the piece that I damaged and broke off to make the ribbon fit. I'm just showing you how I connect the two. If it's too long, you know, just match it up so that the one end fits to the other. Use water, put them all together. And now what I'm doing is I have some white pearl dust. Mixed it with a little bit of vodka, I think, in this situation. And I'm just painting it over the pearls. I didn't do the ribbon, just the pearls, so that made them shiny and more pearl-like, pearlesque. There's the ribbon. I rolled out some white gum paste really thin to make, you know, string. And thread it through, stick it on, and bam, there you go. You got yourself a box cake. So hopefully this video helped you out. Hopefully you will like and subscribe, because that helps me out. Please check out my other videos, and as always, guys, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.